Hey art majors. So your paper mache is hopefully dry. Your first coat of paper mache is probably dry. It shouldn't take a whole week. But now we're going to add our final coat of paper mache. So you can do this a couple of different ways. If you're planning on painting your paper mache, which we'll go over next week, if you choose to do that, you can use regular newspaper, which is great. Creates a nice texture. It's nice and thin. Or if you wanted to, you could actually use computer paper and rip this into strips the same way. And this would give you a really nice white base to paint on. Especially if you're a detail painter and you want to add a lot of detail to it, you might want to consider using the computer paper in order to do your last layer of paper mache. Okay, I am going to use newspaper partially because I actually want to leave part of the newspaper. If you have the newspaper, you can always paint a white coat over it and then paint over the top of that white coat too. That will also provide you with a nice base to paint on. But I'm actually being a little bit selective in the newspaper that I'm choosing and that I want text. I don't want a lot of pictures because I'm going to leave some parts of it as that newspaper. I think that that's a really cool aesthetic. Okay, the other thing that we're going to do with this last layer of paper mache is you can go in and add some certain details to it. So I am going to go, this time I'm going to end up adding eyeballs. Okay, so there's going to be 2 eyes here. And you do this very similarly to how we did it with clay, where you have the socket, you have a ball, and then you have to build up that area around it. So I've already found the size that I want for my eyeballs. And I've got 2 balls the same size. And then I'm going to end up using strips to make the eyelids very similar to how we did it with clay. Okay, and I'm going to do all of that this time before I start my second coat. So I'm going to grab my tape here, and I'm going to use I'm not going to use a lot of tape because remember that with paper mache doesn't stick super well to a ton of tape. So I'm just going to use as little tape as possible and put these eyes where I want them. And luckily, horse eyeballs kind of stick out a little bit from the face. So I have that to my advantage. The main reason I didn't do this on my initial layer is because I didn't want it to get lost when I started paper mache. And when you have some of these finer details, granted eyes are not like super fine details, but if you had some of those finer details, it would be really easy for them to get too thick with the paper mache. Okay, so I'm going to so there's the bottom socket there. Now I'm going to take this top one. And when I paper mache this, I'm actually going to try to push some of the paper underneath that lid so that I can really see, come on, dude. So I can really see that differentiation. So you are going to need to be pretty concise with your paper mache at this point. Okay, so now that you have the practice of it, turn that out a little bit. So you have the practice of it, it's going to give you a little bit more control, I guess. That first layer is just trying to get control of it, get it fully coated, and then we go from there. So there's one eye. It's a little low. Might want to move it up a little bit. But you know what? I can do that. Just unhook this here. Move it up just a little bit. Because I can. Because I'm the artist. And the artist has control. So, all right, there. That's a little better. I like that better. Okay, so there's one eye. Now I'm going to try to match it on the other side. Another strip here. I've pre-mixed my paper mache paste here, and I've ripped my strips. Remember that it does work better if you tear your strips rather than cut them. it lays flatter when you're actually doing your paper mache. Sorry, I know this isn't the best angle for you to see what I'm doing, but I'll show you in a minute. My main goal right now is to get these even. So it's a little bit too high. Okay, so now I have my eyes. Feel as though they're pretty even. The other thing that I had thought about doing was adding like a lip here. So a lot of times you can see horse lips, but I think I'm going to kind of stop there and count this as a win, and I'm going to start paper macheing. So now what I'm going to start here just because I want to show you that little bit before I get too far into it. I'll make these a little smaller. What I was talking about was when I go in to do that paper mache, and I have paper mache paste here, I actually want to kind of force it a little bit underneath that eyelid so that that remains three-dimensional. Okay, so that remains lifted. Okay. So that I don't want to lose that detail that I just did. I want to make sure that I'm emphasizing those eyelids because I put the work into them. It's silly to put all that work into making them and then covering them up because you've lost all that effort you've put into it. Okay, so I'm going to go now and I'm going to paper mache this. I'm not going to bore you with that. And you're going to try to cover everything that you covered before. So your goal is to get 2 full coats of paper mache on your armature. Really, paying attention to make sure that that is flat and really massage those edges down. That's going to give you a good surface for painting later. Okay. All right. So here you go. Have fun. Can't wait to see it. I've seen some awesome pictures. I've seen 3 or 4 armatures that just blow me away. Like I truly, truly wish we were in the classroom doing this so that I could, they're just awesome. They're awesome, you guys. So whatever you're doing, I really, really want to see it and keep it because we can submit them next year even if I don't have you as a student. So if I have you as a student this year, keep sending me your artwork, save your artwork because I want to be able to submit it to art shows next year since we didn't get to do the art shows we would normally do this year thanks to this really awesome pandemic that we have going on. So I miss you all so much. It's so hard for me to believe that this school year is almost over. We only have this weekend, next week, and that's it. And you guys are 8th graders. So I'm really disappointed that I don't get to see you at the end of the school year and I don't get to finish off this school year alongside you, helping you to create this amazing artwork. But I absolutely love what you guys are doing. I love that some of you are still taking the time to do it, even though I know that this is a stressful time. And you know what? If you don't find the time to do it right now, that's okay. These videos aren't going anywhere. So you could always do it over the summer and show me then too. I would love to see it. I would love, love, love to see what you guys are working on. So I miss you all. I care about you greatly. I hope you're doing okay. And I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. All right. I'll see you guys next week.